What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's Denise Salcedo. I am very excited because today, reunited here with Kayla Becker. Kayla, welcome back. It's been a long time since I've had you on the channel.
Just can't get away from you, you know?
I was like, I'm going to hunt you down, get you here, and we're going to do this. But seriously, Kayla, it's been, okay, I'm trying to remember the last time we did this interview together, but it was like a couple of years ago.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah, but so much has happened. You moved out here to LA. You're starting a new chapter in your life. Let's start there. A lot of changes have happened just within this year for you. How have you been feeling like overall?
Oh, things have been great. Like you said, I moved out to LA about 2 years ago now, so I'm obviously getting acclimated to the traffic and the heat. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, a new chapter, left WWE now about 3 months ago, and just kind of moving into what's next with my life and my career. But it's been really good, and there couldn't be a better city to start over in because obviously there's endless opportunities in Los Angeles.
It's the perfect city, honestly, to come in and do all the things that you have going on. But that's the thing. So it's funny because, like, just seeing you, like, I'm going to start off by saying this. It really was a cool thing for you to be like, this is it. This is my time to go and start this new chapter in my career, because not a lot of people have the guts or the courage to do that. So for you, when did you make that decision to say, okay, I'm moving on from this chapter with WWE to pursue some other things that I have in mind?
Well, I mean, it's been something that's been on my mind for a long time. You know, I was there for almost 8 years, did absolutely everything I could possibly do, especially with the position that I was in. Even moving out to Los Angeles, I was kind of foreshadowing like what was coming. I think people even kind of sensed that, okay, she's about to move on. So it's something again I've been thinking about for a long time. But then, as you know, there's been a lot of changes within WWE over the last year. So I just felt like, you know, it's kind of now or never, and I think that's very important in any part of your life. You got to know when it's time to kind of put the button in something and then move on. But officially, I would say about a month before the world knew that I was leaving is kind of when I decided that I was going to head on.
Wow. Was there like a moment where you just thought, you know what, that's it. Like, I'm good. Like, I can move on now.
I mean, I think, you know, I had conversations with people higher up in the company, and I was like, hey, like, what else can I do here? What other opportunities are there? And they were kind of like, listen, we don't, unless like you want to go do commentary, which I've been very open, don't want to do that. That looks extremely difficult. Not sure how they do that. That there really wasn't anything else. I'd just be staying at WWE doing the same thing I've been doing, which wasn't benefiting myself, wasn't benefiting the team. So it wasn't anything like concrete, but it was just an overall consensus that, okay, if I want to grow as a person and as a broadcaster, I can't do that any longer here.
Right. And it could be scary because you're like, okay, what else is out there, right? Mm-hmm. And I know you had mentioned in previous interviews that you were starting to get some like opportunities that you couldn't necessarily like jump on board because you had to get WWE's approval for that. Yeah. So how did that sort of like work?
I mean, yeah, and that's something all of us have dealt with since the beginning of time with WWE. Not only the approval process, it's the time. Like, you don't have time. When you do have time at home, the last thing you want to do is be on another set doing something else. And so yeah, I mean, I think that was, it is a lot more freeing now that I don't have to go ask permission or ask for time off or take a Friday off, which a lot of other opportunities are taking places on the weekends. And I was always working Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so, yeah, and that was just another thing. When I was getting these other opportunities and people coming to me with things that they want me to do outside of work, I was like, I keep turning these things down, and for what reason? To continuously like keep doing the same thing I'm doing every week and not growing. I got, kind of got to, stop that noise. And I'm in my early to mid 30s now. And, as a woman in this business, you kind of got to, So
there's the metaphorical clock. I know we don't like to talk about it, but it's there and it's staring us in the face, even if we don't like to like think about it, right? And you're like, can I get everything done that I want to actually do? So with that being said, hey, 8 years in WWE, like you were literally doing everything, digital, doing the pre-shows, doing backstage interviews, all of that. When you look back at that, and from like day one when you first started to your last day, can you even describe describe your growth and just everything that you learned, and also the challenging aspects of what it takes to do that job in all those different types of roles?
Yeah, when I look back on it, I try to give myself a lot of grace because I'm really hard on myself. I'm sure you are too. I think a lot of us in this position, in this industry, we're all very hard on ourselves. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, like maybe I shouldn't, I didn't do, but no, you're right. Like in 8 years, holding almost every single position you possibly could and moving at a really quick pace because when the pandemic hit, and Renee left and Charlie left and I was the last one standing on the broadcast team. And at the time I wasn't doing that much. I was still kind of a new kid. And then they're like, okay, well, we don't have a choice. You got to do it all now. And so just being thrown into all of that and just having to learn as I went, I am really proud of myself. And I look back and think, wow, my very first kickoff show I ever did was the first kickoff show back after the pandemic at Raymond James Stadium for WrestleMania, 2-hour kickoff show, rain delays, 2 days in a row. It's just really cool to look back and like show that, I proved that I belonged there. And then from there, obviously, WWE's The Bump had been going on for some time. Of course, I did the ring announcing thing. So yeah, I had a lot of momentum. And then again, when that momentum slowed down as it did before I left, it was like, okay, time to jump off the train. Yeah. Or the horse. I don't know what the metaphor is.
You're like, regardless.
We're jumping off.
It's just, you're never stopping. It just keeps going and going and going. But so in all of these roles, they require something different. They require something different of you. For you, which one was your favorite thing to do? And which one did you find like the most challenging where you were like, oh my God, I know after doing it for 8 years, it gets easier, of course.
Well, sometimes. I mean, I think it's no secret. My favorite thing to do was hosting The Bump. I mean, that was the coolest thing. And just the fact that it was the first of its kind in WWE and it lasted as long as it did and getting to be the face of it and the forefront of it and help create it and, turn it into what it became. So freaking cool. And that will always not only be one of the coolest things I've ever done in WWE, that will always be something I can say one of the coolest things I've done in my entire career. Absolutely loved doing that show. And I also got to, show a lot of my personality because as a backstage interviewer, as anyone knows who watches, we're not really allowed to show a ton of personality backstage. It's gotten better since someone has left the company, but it is still like not the way it would be on the show like The Bump. Least favorite thing, and I've said this in about a dozen interviews, was ring announcing. Ring announcing to me was terrifying and it was very hard. But I give so much credit to all of our ring announcers because they make it look easy, but it is not easy at all. But that's the thing I can say is probably the least favorite thing that I've done in WWE.
Wow. No, and it's so funny. Like you did mention that we are able to see more of the backstage interviewers get to show a little bit more personality. So with that being said, I do have to ask you, like, how different was it for you, working all of those years under Vince McMahon and then now, the tail end of your career, having Triple H being the one calling those shots. How different was that for you? Was it less pressure? I don't know.
It was very different. Working on I'm so glad I got to work under him the way I did before I left because that was like he changed things for the best in so many ways. It was just a more pleasant place to come to work. Felt people were just less stressed and high strung, and you were having a lot of fun because he was having a lot of fun with us. But anytime there's change and there's a different management, it's not easy either because I had worked so long under Vince and Vince was like the person I had to go to for everything. So I learned to do things a very specific way. And so all of that did really change. So it was hard. I mean, as you know, it's like the broadcast team kind of shifted around and none of us really knew where we were supposed to be. I stopped doing the kickoff shows towards the end of my time in WWE. So I think it was a lot of that figuring it out and growing pains, but Triple H he is just a brilliant mind, and I have no doubt like things are continue like escalating in the best way and modernizing the product, making it more something that people who may not know about WWE now want to be a part of WWE because it doesn't look like it's from 1984. So yeah.
Well, they definitely been doing like a lot more with the shots and whatnot, sort of switching it up.
Giving
so it's been exciting.
Sports, like ESPN. Yeah, it's been really cool.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that you've done that I thought was very cool, and I know a lot of people probably bring this up to you, but it's your chemistry that you had with Paul Heyman. Mm-hmm. And it was always so fun to kind of watch you guys banter a little bit. And so how did that begin? And was it something that you guys just went with it? Was it something that you guys planned? And what was it like also working behind the scenes with Paul? Because he's somebody that a lot of people have said is a brilliant mind in pro wrestling.
Yeah, probably one of the most, if not the most brilliant mind in wrestling. Paul's been around for forever, for like many different leaderships and eras of wrestling. That really happened very organically back during the Thunderdome era, during the pandemic, when they put us together on Talking Smack. So when we had the panel show, I didn't really know Paul, hadn't worked with Paul that much at the time. I just knew that like this really big, loud man was on my kickoff show all of a sudden, taking up all my airtime, and I was getting really frustrated with him. But then the more I got to work with him, I'm like, man, I would not have become the broadcaster I had become if it weren't for Paul Heyman. And then from there, we'd create little mini storylines on the panel, which a lot of times talking smack, things that would happen on there, even the Renee Paquette, then Renee Young and Daniel Bryan, things would end up on TV and storylines. So that's kind of what inched our way into this whole bloodline feud that I had. So, yeah. And then the things, I mean, listen, there were a lot of times we'd be going live. I'd be handed a script of what to say in my interview. And Paul's like, you don't need that. I'm like, yo, we're going live. And I don't know if I can just tell them in the truck, hey, I'm not saying that. But we would just go off the cuff, and anything Paul touched turned to gold. So, yeah, it was really fun. And that's also something that's really special that not a lot of people can say, is that they got to work that closely with the wise man.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing too. That sounds terrifying, by the way. Like, oh, hey, like, let's throw the script
like,
out.
You don't
You're
need
like,
that
what?
script that you've been practicing for the last hour. Just follow my lead. Okay.
Yeah. What was it? You mentioned kind of like practicing and whatnot. What was your day-to-day sort of routine, how you would prepare for all of the different roles that you had?
Oh yeah, everyone has a different preparation kind of technique. It's very much hurry up and wait when you go to a SmackDown or to a Raw. You show up early, you get into hair and makeup. If you have to do some like early voiceovers or pre-tapes, whatever, you get those done. But the script has changed 10 times a night. So before the show even goes live, you've already changed it many times. So looking at a script of yours, like a question, is doing you no good if you do it at 2 p.m. before an 8 p.m. show, because that's going to change 8 times. And then you're going to have to get that out of your head. So I got to the point where I would ask the writers not to hand me a script until like a few segments before I went, just so I knew that was the only thing that I had to look at. And I'm a really good memorizer. I will go ahead and tell, not to brag, but I was a competitive public speaker, so I'm really good at memorizing. So it was never an issue for me. And then the writers and the producers trusted me enough to where if I decided to change things up a little bit, I knew enough about the story, they would allow me to do it. So I don't remember getting in any trouble for changing things up. But I would not recommend that if you are new at WWE. Do not do that. When you're there for almost a decade, try it out.
Yeah, I was going to say, once you've earned your stripes, for sure. Kayla, who are some of your favorite people, or just like any specific like interview moments, even like besides Paul Heyman, so we just kind of touched on that, but people that you really enjoyed interview, or just people that you were in awe about too when it came to cutting promos? Because some people are really great at it, and some people it's a little bit more, they need a little bit of more work. Who are some of your faves?
And it's insane to me that these wrestlers can go out and wrestle a 15, 20-minute match, get beat up all over the place, and then come back stage live with a mic and cut a promo. Like, it's mind-blowing to me. We have so many people, I keep saying we, but WWE has so many people who are so good on the mics now, I think better than ever before. I'd say LA Knight he's just a master. He's just, if I'd say Paul Heyman's the best on the mic. LA Knight may be there in about 15 years. Like, he's just so freaking good. Maybe 10 years. Maybe next week. Loved working with Bayley. She's just so much fun. And I love working with the heels because it's a lot more fun to riff. Like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Such a good time to have interviews with backstage. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. They're a good time. The Street Profits. The list could honestly go on. Obviously Otis and, that whole crew. Lots of favorites, but I think definitely the heels were the most fun to react off of.
I love it. No, it is one of those things where it's just cool to see how you interact with people.
Zelina Vega, obviously.
Yeah, so she's so fun too. I love that. All right, so I do want to go ahead and get into, before we get into what you've been doing lately, I do have to ask though, do you miss it? Do you think you'll ever go back?
I miss it. I mean, of course, like, that's my family. It's like, it's like when you have to switch schools after middle school and go off to high school. Miss the people. I do not miss the travel. It has been nice not tripping over a suitcase every single week and sleeping in my own bed every single night. But yeah, of course, I always miss it. Will I go back? I don't think in any like full-time capacity, but never say never as far as a pop in, cause again, it will always be family. There's no bad blood there. There's no like, not anything negative like that. So who knows? We'll see.
I think the fans would love that too, like everybody pops every time they see someone that they haven't seen in a while. It's like, oh my God, I remember this person. And they, all of a sudden all these memories flood back and whatnot. And you got so many memories in WWE. But now, I do want to go ahead and get into this next chapter of your career. You're doing some acting, you're doing improv. I believe you even teased a horror pod.
Yeah.
Update us on what's going on and everything you're doing.
Yeah, besides catching up on a lot of sleep, no, I am. I've been taking it a little time to just like be still because that is, I mentioned it yesterday when I was on social media. Since college, I haven't stopped working. So we're talking 15 years of just the go, 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 go. Now I have time to maybe just sit and just figure out what it is that I really want to do. Because the last thing I want to do is jump into another career path that doesn't ultimately make me happy and fulfill me, and then I'm stuck in it for another decade. Not saying that's what WWE was. That wasn't amazing, but I want to, you want to be happy. So yeah, I did a movie that was really fun called Stranglehold, directed by Clark Duke, alongside Justin Long and Ron Perlman, Ashley Benson, and Jake Lacey. Really fun movie. Not a huge role, but I have some lines in there, and a pretty funny character, and that's coming out TBD. But yeah, that was cool. Definitely a different type of set to be on than WWE. And the horror pod, Killing Time with Kayla. Really excited to get that going. Definitely mixing horror and comedy, as you mentioned, doing improv and doing some comedy stuff around LA. Love comedy. So that's going to be a good time as well. And then some other projects. Things I can't talk about right now because I don't want to. But I'll update you when it happens. But yeah, just really focusing on things that, I'm passionate about, that make me happy, and that don't require 100% of me because I want to sprinkle myself kind of in a few different places.
Spread your wings and fly, girl. Go do everything, a little bit of everything. I do want to touch on the horror film Stranglehold that you just mentioned. First of all, I kind of like geeked out when you said Ashley Benson because I loved Pretty Little Liars. Of course, it's so fun. Did you get any chances to like interact with her, either whether it was on your scenes or behind the scenes?
I mean, I had awkward moments with all of them because I'm a very awkward person. Like I tell a story about when I first met The Rock and I got really nervous and called him Mr. The Rock. And so like I have a hard time talking to people that I admire. Justin Long was another one. I've loved him. He was the one I was most excited to see, and I went up and like pretended like I didn't know him when I introduced myself to him instead of just telling him how much of a fan I was, like a normal person would. Ashley Benson. So we all play like strippers. Okay, so Ashley walks out in her like really sexy outfit. Never talked to her in my life. I'm like, what should I say to her? And I was just like, oh my God, you look so hot. I don't talk like that. Like, why did I say it like that? She seemed really pleased and flattered, I think, and maybe asked security to watch me. But yeah, she was really cool, really sweet. Definitely was like there, like willing to help the newer actresses kind of figure out like how to do their thing back there. Yeah, she was cool. But I was geeking out because of Pretty Little Liars days for sure.
Of course. But it's funny though, because she's probably going to remember you like instantly. That's going to be like the thing. Oh, that's the girl that said I looked hot. Hey, that was probably the compliment she needed for that day. You just never know. You never know. But that's really cool. So, you're playing a stripper.
Yes.
That sounds very, very liberating, to be honest, to go out there and just do something totally different. Yes. What was that experience, and how did you prepare?
Well, I happen to have friends who are strippers. No, I didn't actually have to do any stripping, which was great. It was just my character. Okay. So, I'm dressed, pretty modestly considering I am a stripper. So don't get too excited, those creeps who watch your show.
It's like modest strippers.
And modest strippers. The kind of stripper you take home to mom.
I love it. It's going to be the new modern Pretty Woman. There you go. That's a pitch right there. New modern Pretty Woman.
No, it was really cool. I did because my character is she is a drug addict, but she's a comedic character. So I had fun trying to figure out how she would deliver her lines, and the director even let me kind of go off script a little bit and like try out some different ways and that I would deliver, her character. But yeah, I don't know. It's my first time ever acting in a movie. Again, so different from regurgitating lines backstage at SmackDown. And we're taught so much at WWE, like don't go off script, don't ask to go off script, don't try to get your shit in. This is not about you. It's very different on a movie set. Like, yeah, give us your ideas. Like, how do you feel about this? Try that. Like, oh, we like that. Do that again. Oh, you want more lines? Okay, well, here's some lines. Like, very different and very, like I said, liberating and freeing, and also kind of gave me the confidence, like, oh, like, you're not just a glorified mic stand. You actually have some talent. And so, yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see. I hope they didn't cut all my scenes because that would be really embarrassing with all the things I've been talking about. But, yeah, no, it was really cool.
Hey, I was like, at the end of the day, you were on set, you were working,
I was
check
there.
clears, you continue
That's right.
on from
I
that.
have proof. I have a pay stub if you are doubting me.
Yes. Okay, so now, you kind of have your finger in all of the cookie jars right now, kind of seeing, having fun, right? For you, what's the vision? Like, what's the goal? Like, in the next, short term, long term goals, things that you want to make sure you accomplish?
Like the things I've mentioned, but just having like my creative come to life. So I love to write. So I've been writing, like I've been writing some shows and like writing a reality show, a competition show, a sitcom, doing the comedy thing. Just trying to see what hits and what I can settle into that feels really comfortable and that I get the feedback from that validates that it is a product that people want. Like, I think I just want to really give myself, like give Kayla Becker, not Kayla Braxton, to the people who have been so, supportive and who have been following me all these years. So, kind of like the Swiss Army knife host a little bit. So just popping up and whatever they'll give me. No, I'm just kidding. But the comedy, the horror, I think that's the top goal right now.
Yeah, and it seems like you might be running into a lot of, people from the business, of course, because you're signed with Paradigm Talent Agency, and I know that a lot of WWE superstars are also signed with them and doing projects and whatnot. So for you, like getting to see just like everybody sort of, I feel like there's a lot more people doing what The Rock did, doing what John Cena did, doing what the Bella Twins did, which is really like Batista, which is go out into the Hollywood realm of things and get in there.
Clearly, I'm not a wrestler.
This is the multitasking. This is what did you say? Swiss Army knife?
Swiss Army knife. I can open a bottle of water and hold a mic. Hire me, guys. Yes. And I think for the first time and probably ever, people are being allowed to go out there and spread their wings. And I think the current management sees that as a benefit to both the talent and to the company. Because why wouldn't you want the star that you see on Friday Night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, NXT, also marqueing or, have their name on a credits on a big movie. So I do think it's being encouraged and pushed a lot more, which is really exciting. Because I know for a long time, a talent wouldn't even consider getting a manager or an agent because it was kind of like this, like, no. And I think a lot of that does stem from like John Cena and The Rock, who like made Hollywood and kind of, stopped coming to WWE as much, and they're killing in Hollywood. And there was this fear that, oh, you're going to lose your big stars. But no, that's the terrible way to look at it. You're making these stars, and now you're bringing all these extra eyeballs to WWE. You're seeing all these celebrities showing up in the front row of our shows and like being a part of the show. It's freaking amazing, and it's about time that it's happening.
I know, it's been really cool, like you said, seeing all of those celebrities like appear. I'm like, when I saw Jason Kelsey show up, I was like, what is happening here? And, Logan Paul's there and Bad Bunny. And I mean, there's just so many different people that have gone in and out. You mentioned kind of having like these like, the geeky moments, I guess, with people that you see. Were there any celebrities that came into the company where you were like, what the hell is happening right now? Like, we're literally having this
Drew
person.
Barrymore,
she's the best.
She was hilarious. I honestly, I'm on the spot right now. I can't even like list them, but yes, almost every single week I was like, oh my God, can I interview them? Please. But we had, Tiffany Haddish, and then we have, Migos. Oh yeah, that was a time too. Yeah. Every week. And now even more so.
It's wild. It's so cool to sort of see how that has all of just, expanded. Now, Kayla, you mentioned, you're doing all of the horror stuff that you're doing. You're going to be doing the podcast, Killing Time with Kayla. Where did your love of horror begin? And
in the womb.
Oh, perfect.
I was like, this shit looks scary in here and I love it.
That's great.
She's like, that's awesome.
That's great. I was like, where do I go with that? It's amazing. No, but it's a great answer because like there are certain things that you're just drawn to and you don't even know why. You're like, I'm just a big fan of this. And I'm always amazed by that because I'm like, horror's cool. Like I'm not a big horror fan. Like I'll get scared, but I'll watch things here and there.
I don't want to talk to her anymore.
She's like, I'm done. So I'm chicken. Like I'll get scared of stuff. So for me, like hearing people are big into horror, I'm like, okay, what was it? What triggered this love?
Well, as my shirt says, I'm mentally ill, but totally chill. So, I don't know. I think it was when I was, my mother and my oldest sister were big fans when I was growing up. So I just got thrown into it. It's one of those things that like, This sounds terrible, but it's not. This was family bonding. They would make me sit there and not cover my eyes to watch the goriest scenes of a movie. And I will pass that along down if I have children someday. No, it was just, to me, it was family bonding because it was a time that all of us were in the living room with our popcorn and getting scared and cuddling up when you were scared. And so I think that was just, I don't know, my young brain just associated that with love. And then the more I started watching as I got older and just kind of diving into the stories and falling in love with the characters and the character development. And like, I love like the blood and gore. I just think it's so much fun. I don't know. I really do enjoy it. I think it's this crazy art craft that isn't like appreciated the way it should be. Yeah, I think horror community, the amount of people, and that's another good like crossover with WWE and wrestling. A lot of wrestling fans are horror fans and vice versa. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm making my boyfriend watch. Well, he claims he was a fan of horror before he met me, but I think he's just trying to be a really good boyfriend because like he has to sit and watch like a different scary movie with me almost every single night. And my entire bedroom is just decked out in like horror movie posters. And, so yeah.
I heard somewhere, I don't know if it was Lady Gaga or somebody said that if you watch horror movies before you go to bed, like you burn calories. I don't know how accurate that is, but I heard that somewhere and I was like,
I should be a lot skinnier.
And I was like, I even thought about it one time. I was like, maybe I should like, watch a scary movie, get myself a little nervous.
I mean, honestly, they do this, just put a heart rate monitor up to you like during a horror movie and you see like you'll burn calories because your heart rate's up so high.
So favorite movies, favorite horror movies, and favorite horror characters who are like the creme de la creme for you.
Favorite horror movies, The Shining is up there as one of my favorite of all time. If you haven't seen it, you have to see it. Pet Sematary is a great one if you're thinking about like some good old classics. Love all the Freddy and Jason. Scream is one of those horror movies that almost isn't even a horror movie, but now we're going on Scream number 7. I think
There's
it's
so many. I only watched like the first 3.
You could skip the last 2, okay, but then skip over. Great movies. We've had a lot of good new horror movies. A24 and Neon have really been like stepping up with them between a movie called Talk to Me, which is phenomenal. Nicolas Cage's new movie, Long Legs, serial killer movie, really good. You should watch that tonight before bed. You should watch it before bed.
Burn some calories.
The Terrifier movies I absolutely love. The 3rd one is coming out next weekend. Some of the grossest kill scenes, goriest scenes you will ever like. It is disgusting. Like have a barf bag next to you when you watch it, but you'll be smiling. You'll just be so happy that you watched it. Any of the like It, Pennywise, love all the scary clowns. Yeah, I don't know. We need a whole other podcast for me to spit out all my favorites.
Have you done like the horror mazes that they have out here, like at Universal Studios?
Halloween Horror Nights?
Yeah, all of
I
that.
love that she called them the horror mazes. You really gotta go, okay? We need to get you.
I like them.
But have you been to those cute little horror mazes? The ones over there at the biggest theme park here. Have you heard that one?
I haven't gone to the Universal Horror Nights in like 2 years, but I did just do the Knott's one last weekend.
Okay, what'd you think?
It was pretty fun.
Okay, I had a friend go do that one.
All of them. The one that creeped me out the most, though, was the one with the spiders. I was like, I can't do spiders. Like, that's where
I'm
I
with
draw
you
the
on
line.
that. I don't like spiders either.
Yeah. But I like to go, and I like it when they scare me. I like the jump scares.
Okay.
I think that's fun. And I like to just appreciate the design. Like, if they can truly make me feel like I'm in some scary place, that's what I really enjoy.
Would you ever do, Denise, they have these haunted houses that, like, you have to sign a waiver to go into?
17 rooms?
There's a few of them. Would you do that?
No, because I saw that they cut your hair and they put you in there with bugs. And that's where, I'm telling you, the bugs, that's where I draw the line, Kayla.
Okay, that's fair. I wouldn't want that either.
Yeah, no, I was like, I'm not going to go in there and put roaches on me. There's no way.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't let that either.
So, okay, so you're into horror, you're into all of that, you're into the gore and all of that. But where do you draw the line? I mentioned spiders and bugs for you. What are your, like, fears, or you're like, okay, I cannot go in. Are
you crazy? You think I'm gonna be telling this on? No way! I'm not gonna tell you my deepest, darkest fears. This is on camera. I'm being set up.
Everyone on the comments is gonna be commenting your deepest, darkest fear.
I'm not telling you. I will not. Next.
Next question. No, but it is one of those things that I don't think I can do. Would you do those, the 17 room things?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do them. Absolutely not.
No, it's terrifying. But hey, you never know. You live and you learn, right?
You live and you learn. Okay, you're gonna learn to also love getting your hair cut with cockroaches all over your face?
Hells no.
You call me when that part of you changes.
Hells no. I don't think it'll ever happen. But Kayla, before we wrap things up, of course, I just want to go ahead and just give you the opportunity to tell people like, hey, where can they come follow you, support you, and check out all the stuff? And when can we maybe expect some announcements?
Yeah, obviously Kayla Becker now, not Kayla Braxton. I pretty much put everything that I want to tell you on my social media. I do have some autograph signings coming up that you can see on there as well. I'm going to be popping up around like big event in New York and out in Salem, and I have a couple signings out here. So I'm still hanging out with you guys because I love you guys, and I would not be here without you. So yeah, follow along there, and announcements are coming soon. Okay, just gotta be patient. I just don't like to say too much before it's there. But for now, with Halloween coming up, definitely look out for Killing Time with Kayla. Hopefully, I'm trying to line up some really cool guests and make it really fun and interactive for you guys. So yeah.
Can't wait to see what costumes you pull out this year, by the way, for Halloween.
So the costume thing, that's a big. Last year, I did my take on a scary clown. Did you see it?
I saw it. I loved the photo shoot. It was so great.
Well, we're going to do it again this year. I have another, I have a very specific character I'm going to be that I hopefully you horror fans will really appreciate. And there will be another photo shoot. So yes, keep an eye out for that one.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, Kayla, I thank you so much for coming out here on this freaking hot day to come here to the studio. I really, really thank you for that. And to everybody watching, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Give some love to Kayla. All of the links are going to be in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.